welcome to the Kink Perspective. My name's Chris. I'm a psychotherapist and consultant. On today's show, I want to take us on a journey through our psyche. I want to talk about unraveling this profound connection between self-esteem and the diverse dynamics of our kink world. Now, as I dive into this depth of our human experience here, I really want to examine the nuanced area between our sense of self and the unique realms of kink. And it really is a topic that resonates on a personal level for many of us. So I'm kind of eager to start going through this terrain with you. So as we kind of explore this today, this interplay between our emotions and the connections within the community, I want you to kind of sit and think about how they may reflect on a personal level. So first, as much as we tend to understand what self-esteem is, I want to give us a more in-depth kind of exploration and definition of it. This allows us to kind of peel back the layers in a psychological essence. Now, beyond a superficial judgment of oneself, self-esteem forms the core of how we perceive and value our worth in the world. Now, as we introduce this concept into the unique world of BDSM, it transforms into this very interesting psychological realm. Now, from a psychological standpoint, self-esteem is dynamic that is shaped by our lived experiences, the intricacies of our relationships, familial, friends, or intimate, and, of course, societal expectations. Think of it as the mental attire we wear not only in everyday interactions, but also within the intimate confines of our personal experiences. Now, to truly fathom the significance of self-esteem, let's go more into its nature. It's more than just self-perception. It involves our ability to assert boundaries and express desires and embrace our vulnerability. Now, within the community, where authenticity and acceptance are paramount, self-esteem becomes an ever-evolving journey, a process interwoven with the intricate areas of our lives and our desires and growth within the community and how we explore those things. If you considering self-esteem as a fundamental psychological need with both positive and negative consequences for mental health, we have to understand the alternative perspectives. Now here, self-compassion emerges as a compelling option, free from the evaluation of self-worth, and it involves treating oneself with kindness, recognizing shared humanity inside of ourselves, and truly being mindful when considering negative aspects. Self-compassion predicts more stable feelings of self-worth than self-esteem, and it becomes this positive forecast for our mental health. Now, if you can imagine self-esteem as the guiding force in dynamics in the lifestyle, shaping how we navigate these scenes, communicating our desires and establishing our connections, each area, each line contributes to this vibrant part of our community. And it helps us emphasize the understanding and nurturing of self-esteem, which become vital for building fulfilling relationships, not only with friends or family, but really inside of our dynamics. And it fosters this profound sense of belonging. Now, as I keep going through this exploration, I want you to keep in mind that self-esteem brings to this diverse experience within the kink world that's not just a concept, it becomes part of our living. This breathing force that profoundly influences how we engage with ourselves and others along our journey of self-discovery and connection. And that really becomes this epic point that I want to kind of build off of when I start looking here at self-esteem and the lifestyle so much into itself and how they are more intricately connected. Now, our world is often misunderstood, and individuals embracing our community may find their self-esteem intricately connected into societal perceptions of what they should and shouldn't do. And the weight of these misconceptions can cast shadows on the sense of self, and it creates a unique psychological landscape for people. And self-esteem, we need to understand, transcends the personal. It becomes this When we're talking about BDSM, it becomes a shared experience within the community itself. The courage to embrace our desires, the vulnerability to expose one's true self, and the layers of complexity to the interplay between identity and kink. And it does become this journey of acceptance and, further discovery for ourselves, that between our individual authenticity and the collective understanding within the community of kink. And we have to recognize how societal perceptions and even misconceptions impact our self-esteem for those of us that are in the lifestyle. The judgments and misunderstandings from the outside world create this psychological backdrop that influence how we perceive our own worth. Maybe we're thinking we are not the best person, or there's something wrong with us because we're inside of kink, and this affects our self-esteem. And inside of this space, there's this resilience where our community begins to shine, where self-esteem becomes not only a personal endeavor, but a communal exploration, if you will. And we understand that within the confines of the lifestyle, we find this safe haven for our authentic self-expression, which becomes a cornerstone inside of our self-esteem, where we take societal norms and we put them on the backseat to our personal truths. And the shared experience of breaking free from societal expectation fosters this unique bond among our community. And we are allowing ourselves to intertwine our self-esteem with the very fabric here of our kink lifestyle. And this reinforces this idea that understanding and embracing our desires are not just pivotal, but for someone specifically, but they're also their well-being. And it allows for the strength and the cohesiveness as somebody grows and explores themselves and builds their personal confidence. That also supports the community. So in essence, this interplay between self-esteem and the kink lifestyle creates these vast human experiences. And it really is this delicate area that reflects the complexities of individual and collective identity. And it's in this area that individuals discover not only the depths of their desires, but the resilience of their self-esteem when they find the strength and their acceptance inside of the lifestyle and realize that it's okay to be a part of it, that there's nothing to hide from. And sometimes in certain of these areas, when we're kind of traversing our BDSM realms, we do find insecurity inside of our relationships. And we all realize, I've talked about it, people write about it, time and time again. There's usually a writing or some topic of discussion daily. But relationships are really built, especially in this lifestyle, on trust and open communication and effort. And insecurities within these relationships can either strengthen the bonds that unite us, or they supremely strain them. And we have to really recognize and have the courage to confront these insecurities head on. We have to be willing to understand that we each have vulnerabilities that makes the relationship within the BDSM world much more profound and unique to the human experience. Now, from concerns about performance to the complexity of dynamics of acceptance and societal judgment, we have to acknowledge and validate the feelings as we strive to forge a more robust connection within a dynamic, whether it's one-on-one or within the community itself. And our task really isn't to erase these insecurities, but to understand them as they play this integral part of our life that's really wrapped inside of our BDSM world. And to navigate this area successfully, we have to embrace our vulnerabilities. We have to embrace our insecurities and create this space where we can talk about them and allow our partners or other areas in the community, other members in the community, to really discuss, maybe I am nervous about rope, or maybe I don't know enough and I need to go, I've got to let my ego down, and that makes me insecure. And we have to be able to reassure these people, hey, I once was in your spot, and share our stories with them, which allows them to connect to how they feel, to allow them to become more authentic with themselves. And it becomes clear that acknowledging these insecurities, it's not really, we're not saying you're weak, but it actually becomes this testament to the strength of the relationships that we're forging with people. You can talk about these things, and you can express them without fear of judgment. And to share something personal here, with a lot that's going on in the world, I always open my show that, I'm a psychotherapist and I'm a consultant. And I've been consulting on a lot of matters that are going on globally, because of a past job I used to do. This past weekend, I was watching something, and I was sitting with my partner, and I was watching this video of this boy singing with his dad. And it got to me, and it was very emotional. The song wasn't overly emotional. It was just the whole experience and everything I've been doing. And I broke down, and I just kind of released. And she commented to me, and she's like, I love you so much because you can open yourself and feel vulnerable in this moment. Now, if I felt insecure, and I wasn't able to express myself to her or open up like that, I would have internalized all of this pain and not been able to share it, and not been able to allow her to see that, which in turn allowed us to connect again on a deeper level. So I embraced it. And it wasn't easy. It's not easy for men. It's not easy for women to embrace those insecurities. But when we can, and we have partners there that are supportive, we forge these connections that really do transcend what we know from society. And she really made that moment authentic for me. And that's what we want to do for people. Foster this environment where we can express our fears and our desires, our emotions, our sadness, and allow this shared understanding that deepen this real unique bond, not just because of the lifestyle or because we're in it, but because we're connected to each other. And these human complexities of insecurity, they're not just individuals that are as they're opening up to the world, they're not only just strengthening these things, but now we start paving the way for a more intimate exploration of our world, because we've allowed ourselves to confront and to be open about our insecurities. And through that, when we have somebody who's being supportive for us, what that does for us next is say, okay, you know what? They're not going to judge me. They're going to take their time with me. They're going to help me explore. They're going to help me understand. And now I can go through my insecurities, and maybe they won't be as strong anymore because I know I'm not going to be judged. So how do we go about building some healthy self-esteem, and especially within the lifestyle? Well, our first foray into this with some tips and kind of advice, we know that the lifestyle, this just is not an individual pursuit. For the most part, this is a shared endeavor, and engaging in workshops and embracing a lot of self-reflection exercises becomes this exploration within our community. And through this exchange of experiences, individuals don't just learn by themselves, but it becomes this collective growth towards a more confident and empowered sense of self. And if we shift this focus for a second to these profound dimensions of self-acceptance and expression, these become these integral keystones in constructing a robust sense of self within the lifestyle. So now we're not only reflecting on what we've done and become proud of what we've done and empowering ourselves and empowering our community, but we're empowering ourselves within the lifestyle. Especially when we're ready to embrace our desires and our dreams, and we know we can express them authentically without, being judged. But we do have to understand this is just a sprint. This is a marathon. It's a journey that we're forever going on. And as this personal growth, it allows us to create this space where, as we continue to explore and discover, we celebrate these unique aspects of our own identity without judgment, even judging ourselves. And it's not about tolerating oneself, it's about embracing and integrating these complexities that makes each one of us the individual who we are. We find that, and you can look at communities globally, that for the most part, community support really does emerge as this backbone of our mental well being within the lifestyle, especially when we're nervous about things. We've got people there to support us and give us strength and tie us, not literally tie us together, but support us to going through the activities. I talked about a few months back, I talked about a burial scene, and how many people were involved in the community. And I was one of the fortunate people involved in that. I don't know, 20 or 30 people. That's a major community support to go through all of this. And each step to make sure not only the scene went off, but that wanted to be a part of it and nurture the two that were going through it. And this is where this resiliency inside of our community and our partners' lives, because it's understanding and support and a network of resources. And when we're looking at the community specifically, it becomes this communal backing that individuals discover in the lifestyle, this immense amount of resilience to overcome their challenges, to embrace themselves, to contribute to the thriving interconnectedness that defines our community to what it is. But we have to worry, we have to then focus on building these, on healthy self-esteem in the lifestyle, and make it integrate within our relationships or our community. It's about fostering these environments, and I talk about this a lot, where individuals not just learn practical strategies for positive self-esteem, but really understand the depths of their own self-acceptance and expressions. And this isn't just, a one-stop thing and you're done. It's ongoing. And we have to be embraced by support and resources in the community, and create all these interconnected lines with different people so we continually foster that growth. So if we stumble and we become insecure for a moment, we're insecure maybe about our weight, or being on stage and doing a demonstration for the first time, that we know that there's enough people there that are going to support us on that journey. And this allows us this thriving sense within ourselves to push forward and overcome some of these fears. So how do we do this? How do we get there? What are some of the ways that we can actually increase our self-esteem? Now, self-worth and self-esteem requires a blend of self-reflection, intentional action, and the biggest one is a commitment to growth. And one foundational element here lies in recognizing and appreciating our strengths and accomplishments, regardless of their scale. If you've graduated from school because, 20 years later, you never went to college and you decided to go, it's an accomplishment. You have to celebrate. You got a promotion at work. You did your first self-tie. You celebrate these accomplishments. Because by reflecting on past achievements, we lay this groundwork for a positive self-image. And we create this sense of competence and resilience. And here I want to kind of give you some ways. And one of the best ones is set a realistic goal. Define a goal that will challenge you yet remain attainable. And the pursuit of this goal shapes not only your abilities, but also the perception of yourself. And you have to understand there might be some setbacks and there might even be some failures, but these become valuable learning experiences. And this is an essential part of this journey because it allows you resilience. It allows you to learn and grow in a healthy way. The next one I want to suggest is cultivating a positive relationships. You want to surround yourself with individuals who uplift you, support you, encourage you. They want to see you personally grow. You don't want to be around people who are constantly putting you down, or, oh man, the world sucks and I hate my boss and, my dom is now. You don't want to be around people who are consistently negative. We do feed off of that energy. Positive connections contribute significantly to your self-esteem. Affirmation and understanding and shared experiences with these people create and support and make your self-worth, your sense of worth grow. And here's one I talked about earlier. You have to practice self-compassion. You have to treat yourself with kindness. You got to recognize your shared humanity, and you got to maintain mindfulness in the face of challenges. Self-compassion is truly a pinnacle in building stable and positive self-worth. Because if you're putting yourself down, you're saying, I'm not good enough, I can't tie that tie well enough, I've been doing this for 2 months, I still don't know what I'm doing, I'm just an idiot, and we're beating ourselves up. You are destroying your own self-worth, and no amount of community support is going to get that back. So treat yourself well. The next one is embrace self-care practices. Incorporate some activities here that nourish your physical, mental, and your emotional well-being. It's not about indulgence. It's a component in building and sustaining your self-esteem. You have to do these things. Because if you don't take care of yourself, maybe go and treat yourself after you've done something really well, watch that movie you've been putting off. If you don't take care of yourself sometimes on your own, well, you're going to break down. Finally, I want you, and this list is, by the way, no way exhaustive. These are only 5 little tips I'm kind of putting in here. But you need to foster a growth mindset. You have to approach challenges with an open and growth-oriented perspective. You have to view setbacks as opportunities for learning and improvement. Great, I didn't do this right, so the next time I do it, I'm going to remember that, and I'm going to, implement this new strategy and go from there, right? That's what you got to do, and that's how we do it. A growth mindset contributes significantly to positive self-image, because then you're not going in and go, oh, well, I failed. God damn it. I'm so terrible. I'm just stupid. And we start beating ourselves up, right? And I talked about that before, self-compassion. I'm never going to do this again. I can't. It's too hard to master. No, get back up on that horse and you do it again and again. And if you fall off, you do it again. And you do it until you get it right, until you're happy with it. But seek support along the way. Hey, if you're struggling with a rope tie, if you don't understand necessarily what the best position for an OTK is, or you're looking for a good flogger and you're not maybe whipping it right, find somebody who's been doing it. Ask for help. Be that person that's not, drop some ego and look for some help. Foster that growth. So some of these strategies go beyond the surface, and they recognize this layer of your personal self-discovery, and they really do bolster your self-esteem. You have to understand what your own inherent worth is as an individual when you're navigating the complexities of life, because life isn't easy. But if you sit there and beat yourself up along the way, well, it's going to be worse. So I want you to kind of take a moment here and reflect on this today, what each of us individually embarks upon in our life. And your unique experiences adds layers to the collective understanding of your own self-worth and self-esteem. The insights gained are these sparking the conversations that resonate within your community. These are the things that are going to make your journey in the lifestyle better. And they're also going to allow you to build your self-esteem, to be yourself. I want you to kind of think about something here, because I like to kind of end shows on questions so you get a chance to reflect a bit. And I'll put it up on Spotify, and I'll put it on social media when I post this. How has your venture into self-esteem within kink not only shaped your self-perception, but also enrich the quality of your connections? And your reflections here aren't just personal, they're vital contributions to the ever-evolving narrative of our shared experience inside of the BDSM community. It truly is. Because this is how we not only learn and grow as individuals, but we allow others to see that growth and help foster theirs. And then in turn, we're growing the community. And that's really what's important here. Until next time, everybody, be safe.